Hello YouTube, my name's Nero, and today we have some Call of Duty Advanced Warfare and another episode of Dear Nero, which of course is the weekly series here on my channel where subscribers send me fan mail and or fan questions, and I do best go and answer them. To cover on the gameplay today, this is going to be my first game ever on the PlayStation 4, so I thought for the gameplay, we're just going to show my first couple of matches on the PlayStation 4 and just how bad they can be. At the same time, they weren't exactly terrible. It was kind of a nice little mix. Like, it was kind of bad, and there were some funny moments where it's like, wow, how terrible is his aim? And there's other instances where it's like, wow, okay, so he's getting the swing of things here. He's actually having his moments. He's having his little moments of glory here in the PlayStation, so that's kind of interesting. So what we're going to do is just show my first couple of matches on the PlayStation 4. This is the first one ever. Sadly, it's on the map Instinct, but yeah, it's my first match on the PlayStation 4. Then we're going to show my second one, then the third one. The fourth one, for whatever reason, actually ended up getting corrupted for one reason or another. It just will not open while in Sony Vegas. So we're going to be skipping that one, then we'll go on to the fifth one here, and that should round out to about half an hour's worth of footage, and that's going to be just about the length of this week's episode of Dear Nero. So hopefully you guys will all sit back, relax, and enjoy that. But gameplay aside, this is Dear Nero. It's about the Q&A. It's not about the gameplay, so let's hop into it. The first one, this one's a doozy. He's going to write, Dear Nero, let's be real here. While we all know that the supply drop system in Advanced Warfare is unique, rewarding, and fun, it comes with a price. Literally. In the last video, you originally spent nearly $50 on 3 DLC weapons. That is almost the same price as the Season Pass. Not only that, but not even the $50 got you the STG, neither did the extra 20. So my question to you is, how fair do you truly think the supply drop system in Advanced Warfare is after that little instance yesterday? Ethan from Illinois. So Ethan, I am not upset about that whatsoever. So at the end of the day, guys, it's random. Random is random. You can't cheat random. It's completely random. You never know what you're going to get. I actually got some criticism when Advanced Supply Drops first came out because I was like, guys, Advanced Supply Drops aren't a very good deal. Really, they really aren't a great deal. And I was drawing that from comparison to another game I play called Hearthstone. So if you guys know what Hearthstone is, it's a free-to-play card game by Blizzard. A lot of YouTubers play it, even if they don't post it on their YouTube channels. I post a little bit of it on my Let's Play channel, but it's just a fun game that I like to play. It's a card game, and as such, it's a card game. You need to actually get packs of cards. You can do so by doing quests in game and earning gold and buying them that way, but that could take a long time. You can also take a shortcut and just buy a bunch of card packs with real money, right? And at the end of the day, the card packs are random. You never know what is going to be in them, and I kind of found out because I used to do pack openings on Nero's Let's Plays with that game that I would spend, let's say, $20 on packs of cards, and I would end up getting like 1 or 2 cards I actually really wanted. Of course, I'd get a bunch of cards, but most of those cards were like kind of meh, or they're copy cards, like repeat cards I already had. But at the end of the day, I would end up getting like 2 cards that I really wanted out of that $20. I'm like, okay, so if I got 2 cards I really wanted for $20, I essentially, give or take, just end up spending about $10 for each one of those cards, that's pretty pricey, that's pretty expensive. And I drew comparisons to Advanced Supply Drops. You buy $20 worth of Advanced Supply Drops, you end up getting 2 weapon variants that you really wanted. That's not really that great of a deal. You end up spending essentially, give or take about $10 for each one of those weapon variants. That's why I said, as soon as it came out, I wanted to give like a PSA to you guys. I'm like, guys, look here, it's not the greatest deal, these Advanced Supply Drops. Sure, you're going to get some cool stuff, but at the end of the day, the stuff that you really wanted, your Obsidian Steeds of the world, your Speakeasies, your AK-12 RIPs, your HVR3 Insanities, the things that you're really after, the chances of you getting them are pretty low, and even when you do get them, they're not going to have a price on them because there's going to be a lot of other stuff that you end up paying money for that you didn't really want, right? I made that for you guys. I'll let you guys know that right away. And since then, I've been actually doing Advanced Supply Drop opening videos here on my channel. You guys are like, wait a minute, you said Advanced Supply Drops are stupid. You said you hate them. Now you're opening them. It's like, no, that's not what I'm doing. I told you guys, the random is going to be random. That is the whole point of it. I didn't want you guys to waste your money. I'm not wasting my money. I'm a YouTuber. Anything I get out of these Advanced Supply Drops is a good thing. At the end of the day, it's kind of a business expense at that, I make money off of those videos. I can write off the money I spent to make those videos. Like, it's not a big deal for me because I'm a YouTuber, but to the average Call of Duty player, somebody that works a normal job, somebody that just likes to play video games and has a very limited gaming budget, because as a YouTuber, I have a pretty big budget for gaming. I can spend more money on video game related things as compared to most people because it's part of my job, right? That's understandable for me, but for other people, they have a limited gaming budget. And I wanted to let you guys know that's probably going to be a waste of money for a lot of you because random is random. You never know what you're going to get. I'm sure somewhere out there, because you mentioned here for my video yesterday that I ended up spending roughly $70-$80 on Advanced Supply Drops, and I did not get the STG-484. Really the one thing I wanted to get out of that video was the STG-484. I did get a lot of cool stuff in there. I got tons of royalties, tons of cool stuff, but I did not get the STG-484. And I guarantee there's some of you guys out there that end up getting the STG out of a regular supply drop that you get just for playing the game. You know, every 45 minutes of playtime, you get your supply drop. Or maybe you did your supply drop daily challenge where you went and did your challenge and got your supply drop, and you got the STG from that, right? So basically, you spent no money to get that STG, and you got it like right away, whereas I spent like $80 and I didn't get it at all. So it kind of evens out. Like, it's random. At the end of the day, guys, random is random. That's the thing with these advanced supply drops. Do I think that they are fair? Yes, because we know what we're getting into. They are random. Random things are random. You can't really control random. It's all random. So just keep that in mind. So you guys know what you're getting into. If you're somebody that's going to be buying advanced supply drops, you know what you're getting into. Yes, I can definitely understand why people are upset about the idea that the 3 new weapons, the blunderbuss, the SVO sniper rifle, along with the STG-44, I can understand why people are upset that those are kind of behind an artificial paywall in that we can't just essentially get them. You have to get lucky enough to get a variant out of a supply drop, and then from there you unlock the base variant and so on and so forth. I can understand why people are annoyed by that, but at the end of the day, guys, at the end of the day, Advanced Warfare here has given us a ton of weapons, right? And keep in mind, I'm not somebody that's like partnered with Activision, right? I'm not somebody that like gets flown out these events. I'm not somebody that like knows any of the developers personally, right? This is just me and my own experience. I've never gotten anything from Activision, so this isn't like a biased opinion or anything. Sledgehammer Games has given us a lot of extra content via these supply drops, which is a really good thing. They keep adding in cosmetic stuff as well as actual weapons, right? They could have charged us for these weapons. They could have done that, and people probably would have been happy with that. But what they're doing with this is they're kind of making it so they're going to make a bit more money off advanced supply drops by putting in these new weapons. And for some people, it's going to be free DLC. There's some of you, I guarantee it, they're watching this video just by sheer numbers alone. Some of you guys already have gotten the SVO, you've gotten the blunderbuss, and you've gotten the STG just from regular supply drops. You didn't have to pay any extra money whatsoever. Then there's also going to be some of you that are like me that spend money on advanced supply drops and are yet to get the one thing that you really wanted to get. Maybe you want the STG, maybe you want the SVO, whatever it is, you haven't gotten it yet. It's going to kind of even out at the end, and chances are Sledgehammer's going to make a bit more money as a result of that. But Call of Duty is a business, right? They've given us so much stuff. They gave us the base game, they gave us a bunch of awesome DLC, they gave us a bunch of free DLC. You can't be upset about it, guys. You just really can't, especially this late into the life cycle of the game, whereas usually, and even Treyarch, as much as I love Treyarch, this late into the game's life cycle, usually they kind of forget about the game, they stop really updating it, they don't pay too much attention to it. And we have Sledgehammer here adding in 3 new weapons into the game, right? 3 new weapons, guys. It is July, and they are adding in new weapons for free, essentially, but it's kind of like put behind a luck barrier. So I think it's a completely fair system because it's random. We know what we're getting into. Next question, he's going to write, Dear Nero, as well as being an uploader of YouTube videos, do you watch them also? If so, what sort of videos do you watch and how often? If not, why not? Keep up the great work and amazing videos. Nico from England. So Nico, I talked about it in last week's Dear Nero. I have almost replaced completely television or movies or entertainment in that sense with YouTube and Twitch. Gaming and this whole thing that we're doing here on the internet has basically taken over my entertainment life. Now, there are a bunch of YouTubers I watch. I don't particularly watch a lot of Call of Duty YouTubers anymore. Of course, that's how I got into YouTube initially, was watching these Call of Duty YouTubers. Some of them, to kind of give some shout-outs, I suppose. Beyond with a 3, he, of course, is on YouTube anymore, but I used to watch him a lot. HQ Fighter, Hutch, back when he was doing a lot of Call of Duty videos. Of course, Grizz. Like, these are people I like to watch. Willy's Gamer Tag, Wings of Redemption. But a lot of the people that I watched for Call of Duty, basically none of them do Call of Duty anymore or do YouTube anymore because it's been a long time. You can't expect people to go on forever, you know. As much as I want to go on forever here on YouTube, it's hard for people to do so. So a lot of the people that I like to watch, they didn't continue playing Call of Duty. So as a result, I haven't really been watching a lot of Call of Duty videos over the past, I'm going to say, year, maybe 2 years. But I do watch a lot of Drifter videos because his videos are they're legitimately well put together and they're very informative. As well as I like to watch like different kind of Call of Duty montages, particularly JQ. I link him a lot on Twitter. JQ is a fantastic player. He makes a lot of Call of Duty 4 montages. I just love those things. They're so fantastic. But aside from that, I like to watch podcasts. Of course, Painkiller Already with Willy's Gamer Tag and FPS Kyle, otherwise known as FPS Russia. That is a really good podcast. I love the co-optional podcast, which is Total Biscuit, Jesse Cox, and Dodger. And they always have a guest on there every week. I like to watch some WoW Machinimas, like Nixon Machinima and WoW Crandor. Those are really funny. So whenever they make videos, that's of course great. I like to watch Hearthstone videos, especially like Hearthstone live streams and stuff like that. I'll do like Blame Truth and people like that. I like to watch live streams of Hearthstone. I just kind of like have it open on my second monitor just to watch them play, just because Hearthstone's a really fun game to watch. So that's basically what I like to watch on YouTube for the most part. Of course, there's a lot of other channels out there that I watch as well, but those are like the big ones that I watch pretty consistently. And yeah, so it might surprise people, I suppose, that I hear that I don't watch a lot of Call of Duty videos. But here's the thing, right? This reminds me of like an interview that I saw with Tom Petty. Now, Tom Petty, if you guys don't know, he's a musician, right? He's been doing rock and roll music for a very, very long time. And they asked him about like how he can make such original music like for so long. And he said, and of course I'm paraphrasing here, sometimes it comes so naturally that you kind of wonder where it came from. And what he kind of meant by that was, sometimes he wonders, is he plagiarizing people without really meaning to? Because something just kind of came to his head so easily, and he's like, well, how did that get there? Am I thinking of something else? Am I drawing influences from other things here? And I kind of have that with YouTube, and I try to avoid that, I suppose. I don't watch a lot of Call of Duty YouTubers, again, besides like Drifter, because I don't want to have their style or the kind of videos that they do kind of influence my own style. Even subconsciously, I don't want that to happen. I don't want to watch a bunch of another YouTuber and then end up making videos that are really similar to theirs, or making having like a similar way of speaking or a similar way of editing or anything like that. Like, I don't want to end up plagiarizing people, I suppose. That's one of the reasons why I don't watch a ton of Call of Duty YouTubers, because I kind of have my own style here with my videos, and I don't want too many outside influences kind of even like subconsciously changing the way I like to make my videos. But again, Drifter and I, we make completely different videos. His are very informative, very helpful, and just well put together, and they're just completely different than the ones I make. So I don't think I'm really plagiarizing Drifter whatsoever. I just like to watch his videos because he's been a friend of mine for several years now. We actually did a dual commentary way back in the day in Modern Warfare 3, and he's actually one of the people that really kind of helped my channel grow initially. So Drifter's a really cool guy. Next question, he's gonna rate. Dear Nero, with you creating a new account on PlayStation 4, how does it feel to not have the variants that you have on the Xbox, like the Speakeasy and the Hole Puncher? As well as, more importantly, is it still fun for you even without those variants? For me, I love Advanced Warfare enough to look past the fact that I don't have those guns, but what is your take on it? As always, keep up the beautiful work. Andy from California. So Andy, that's actually a really good question. I do miss my variants. I really do when I'm playing on the PlayStation 4. I don't have a lot of great variants. Actually, the one good variant I've gotten so far on the PS4, which, keep in mind, I'm like almost level 40-ish, somewhere in there. So I haven't really had a ton of chances at getting supply drops or anything like that. But I did get like the Morris Silver Bullet, and I love using that because it looks really cool. But I haven't gotten any of the really good variants in the game. I haven't gotten like your Speakeasies. I haven't gotten your HBR3 Insanities or your RIPs of the world. I haven't gotten the Hole Puncher or anything like that, right? I haven't got like the Amelie Subverter. I don't really have any great variants for anything. And for the most part, I'm just using the base weapon. All my classes are the base weapon, with the exception of the Morris Sniper, which is still my most used gun on the PlayStation 4. So I like using that gun a lot because it's very fun. I actually like the extra penetration that it gives. Like, I'm actually able to shoot people through walls a lot more. I've gotten several collaterals now, which I'm not sure if that's really as a result of the increased bullet penetration that you have when using the Morris Silver Bullet, but it could be. I just like using it. But when I'm using the MP11, right? When I'm using the MP11, I'm so used to the Goliath from using it on the Xbox, right? I really miss it. Like, I'll be shooting at people, and I'll win my fair share of gunfights, but there's other times where it's like, how did I not kill him? I'm like, wait a minute, yeah, this is like the base MP11. It's nowhere near as good as the MP11 Goliath. So that makes a little bit of sense. It's not a really good variant. It's just the base MP11. When you're using other weapons, you kind of feel the same thing. Whereas, like, I'll use the AK-12. Now, keep in mind, on the Xbox One, I have the AK-12 RIP, and I've gotten quite used to that weapon. It's my most used weapon on Xbox. So I'm kind of used to that, and I use the AK-12 here on the PlayStation. I start shooting at people, and I usually do fine, but there's occasionally those moments where it's like, wow, how did I not kill him? Like, wait a minute, it's because I'm used to the RIP. That's why, I haven't really used the ARX so far on the PlayStation, but I should probably go ahead and do that. But I'm just using the sniper so much. I'm using the Morris Sniper more than anything on the PlayStation, along with the TAC-19 shotgun. So I should probably try out the ARX. It's been a very long time. I'll admit it. It's been a very long time since I've used the ARX when it wasn't the Hole Puncher variant. I'm kind of interested to see, what the ARX feels like when it's not the Hole Puncher, because it has been a very long time. I probably should refresh my memory on that. But yeah, I miss the weapon variants. I definitely miss them, but by no means does it make the game not fun. It's like, yeah, I do miss those. And it's still, at the end of the day, it makes it so supply drops are a completely relevant thing, because they are a very fun thing in the game. They make the game a lot more fun, because you're like, what am I going to get? What am I going to get? And that feeling, right? That's why I love doing advanced supply drop opening videos, but that feeling when you get something really good, right? You end up getting like in yesterday's advanced supply drop opening video, I'm like, I just got the royalty ASM1. This thing is literally better than the Speakeasy, right? It's literally better. And I'm like, oh wow, that's so cool. that you end up getting something like that. You end up getting like a royalty of a different weapon, or I end up getting my K12 RIP. It's so much fun when that ends up happening. When luck is just on your side, RNG just works in your favor, and you end up getting a variant that you really like. That's a really cool feeling. And at the end of the day, it's not the worst thing in the world. The base MP11 is not horrible compared to the MP11 Goliath. It's just not as good, right? It's not the worst thing in the world. You could definitely do well with base variants, but of course, there's going to be better variants out there. So I think I like that. I still, to this day, I like supply drops. I like advanced supply drops. And I like weapon variants. I'm kind of sad to see that they're not going to be returning in Black Ops 3. Speaking of Black Ops 3, next question, he's going to rate, Dear Nero, do you think there will be DLC for the campaign in Call of Duty Black Ops 3? Keep up the good work, Nico. And keep in mind, guys, this is a different Nico. So if you guys remember from 2 questions ago, there was a guy named Nico, and he was from England. He asked the question about who I like to watch on YouTube or Twitch. And this Nico is a completely different Nico. I checked in 2 complete different accounts, 2 different questions, 2 different Nikos. So yeah, there's 2 guys that just so happen to have the exact same name. But to the question here, do I think there will be DLC for the campaign in Call of Duty Black Ops 3? Of course, I don't know, but I would not be surprised by it. Call of Duty has been adding a lot of things. Like, they've been adding a lot of new content in different ways over the past couple of years. We've been talking about a lot here in this video. You look at the supply drops, the advanced supply drops, and the loot system that we have in Advanced Warfare, and how they're able to add in a lot of new weapons to the game and put them in the loot pool, and people can either choose to try and get them with money, or they can not and try and get just by complete RNG when they earn advanced supply drops and regular supply drops by playing the game. That's a really new and innovative feature that Call of Duty. Of course, we've seen it in other games, but it's a new and innovative feature for Call of Duty itself. I would not be surprised to see DLC to the campaign in Black Ops 3, because it's something that happens a lot in other games, and there's really no reason why it couldn't happen in Call of Duty. Now, here's the thing. Here's my only thing about the idea of having DLC campaigns added into Black Ops 3. I would like for these extra campaigns, like these extra little bits of campaign, to not really change the overall story, because I think that's really going to be kind of a low blow for people. Like, I'm sure there's a lot of people out there that really like the Call of Duty campaign. I've never really been disappointed by a Call of Duty campaign. I hated the Ghost ending, but the campaign aside from that was actually really good. I am yet to actually play the Advanced Warfare campaign. I'm going to be doing it soon. We're going to actually be doing a Let's Play of it over on Nero's Let's Plays if you guys are interested in following that. But I've never been disappointed by a Call of Duty campaign overall. They've always been pretty good. They're usually, 4 to 6 hours, maybe even a bit more. It's basically you're on rails, you're just going through like an action movie, and you get to see some really cool stuff. There's usually a lot of really cool things that are happening, and it usually kind of fleshes out the things that you see in the multiplayer, and the stuff you see in the multiplayer kind of makes a bit more sense because you have the context of it from the campaign. I've never really been disappointed by it in that respect. And when I think of the idea of like DLC to the campaign in Black Ops 3, they could do that. Just please don't change the overall story of the game, because there's gonna be people out there that just want to buy the base game. They don't want to have to buy a DLC. I'm sure there's a lot of you guys out there that just don't buy the DLC for Call of Duty, and you don't want to like add in like a bunch of awesome, amazing stuff for the campaign and make it exclusive to DLC. Like, you don't want to change the overall story, because like, okay, you want to experience the entire story, you better buy these extra DLC packs. Like, no, have the base story be on the disc in Black Ops 3, then have some extra stuff. Like, if they want to have like a campaign DLC where you get to kind of expand the universe a little bit, you get to go on some extra side missions which don't really affect the overall story, but they're just extra side missions for you to go do, and you get to go with characters. Maybe they have some throwback missions to some of the stuff that happened in like Black Ops 1. You get to see it from a different perspective, or see stuff like that. That stuff would be cool. Stuff that doesn't change the overall story, but just adds more content to the game and more stuff for you to do if you would like to purchase the DLC. That's what I like to do. Just please, if they were to do this, which again, we don't know if it's going to happen, if they were to add DLC campaigns to Black Ops 3, just please make it so it doesn't affect the overall story, but instead it just gives players more stuff to do and kind of expands the universe a little bit, while at the same time not changing the overall story arc. That's what I would like to see. Next question, he's going to rate, Dear Nero, do you think YouTube is becoming so oversaturated that it is damn near impossible for young channels to grow? Riley from San Diego. So Riley, I'm hearing people use that phrase for ages now, oversaturated. People have always been claiming that, there's too many people on YouTube now, it's too hard to grow. And I don't think it's entirely true. There are a lot of content creators out there. I remember when I first started YouTube, at least on NerosCinema here, it was right before Modern Warfare 3 came out, like towards the end of the original Black Ops' life cycle. And I remember back then, people were complaining, oh, so oversaturated, too many people on YouTube now, it's so hard to grow. And I can remember even before that, before I even had my own YouTube channel, when I was just watching people people. It was during Modern Warfare 2, back when Machinima Respawn was like the biggest thing in gaming, and big YouTubers always like fighting over who gets to get on Machinima Respawn. It was like the most popular channel out there, and it's still pretty popular, but by no means is it as big and as relevant as it was back then. But even back then, when this all first started, people were complaining, oh, so oversaturated. Like, that term has been used forever. So oversaturated. So many people now. There's like 100 commentators. It's impossible to follow. Whereas now there's like there's Call of Duty channels out there that have like well over 1 million subscribers that I've never even heard of. Like, there's just so many people out there that's hard to keep track. But it is entirely possible still to grow here on YouTube. It is still entirely possible, because while there are a ton of channels out there, there's also a ton of viewers out there, right? And it all comes down to, are you going to put in the work? And of course, it's going to be a lot harder now, and you have seen it. No names. I'm not going to put out any names, but there has been people out there that got popular back when Call of Duty on YouTube like it was originally a thing, and there wasn't a lot of people doing it, and they barely put in any effort. They just got popular because they're one of the few people making videos at the time. And over the years, they've kind of slipped to become more and more and more and more and more relevant, because they refuse to put in work. Like, they still wanted to put in this like super minimal amount of work that they put in back in like 2008 when they first started their YouTube channel. They wanted to continue to do that here in 2015, and it just doesn't work, because the more people that join YouTube and the more competition that you have for your channel, the harder it's going to be to get noticed, and the harder it's going to be to try and outdo the other people. You're going to have to try and make the best possible videos that you can make to keep people entertained, because so people stay on your channel and not go to one of the millions of other channels out there. That's really the hard thing. So if you want to grow on YouTube, and there's so many ways to grow, there's so many different kinds of channels, so many different kinds of methods, but I can really only give you guys the advice that worked for me. This is how I grew my YouTube channel, and this is how I continue to run my YouTube channel. I run my channel by posting a lot of videos. I'm very consistent. I have nearly 3,000 videos between NerosCinema and Nero's Let's Plays, right? I can remember seeing people send me messages like, Nero, it's so hard to grow, it's impossible to grow. It's so much work, and they have like 2 videos on their channel over the course of like several weeks, and it's like, really? Like, I do like 2 videos like a day most of the time. Like, I haven't been doing that really much recently, but I do a lot of videos, right? I'm doing, between NerosCinema and Nero's Let's Plays, I'm doing nearly 60 videos a month, right? I'm doing a lot of videos every single month. Now, Nero's Let's Plays has been slacking a little bit lately. That's because I've been doing so many videos here on NerosCinema, but I do a lot of videos, right? And the reason why I do that is because while there's some people out there, like Wildcat, great friend of mine, his videos, they're super high effort, right? They take a lot of time to put together. He'll play with his friends or play by himself or whatever, and he'll record like 8-9 hours worth of footage and condense that down into like a 10-minute, 15-minute video, right? That takes a lot of time. That takes a lot of editing. Of course, his videos are very well edited. They have a lot, like the editing process, I think is the thing that takes the longest, that he was saying, for him. And so his videos, there's not a super amount of them, but the ones that you do get are super high quality. Whereas I'm a bit different. My channel's a lot more casual. It's a lot more laid back. So I can make a lot more videos, but at the same time, they're not going to be as like amazing and mind-blowing as what you see as Wildcat, for example, right? There's a number of ways to make videos here on YouTube, and the way that I've always went about it is I try to make a lot of videos. I like to make consistent videos, and hopefully they're entertaining. It's the kind of video that I like to watch. The kind of videos I watch on YouTube are the kind of videos that I put together. I usually like them to be a little bit longer. I like the people they really go in depth with their opinions, and just kind of like more long-form style of videos. I like those kind of videos on YouTube, so I make that kind of video here on my channel. That's what I like to do. But keep in mind, if you're going to be starting your own YouTube channel, you're probably going to need to be doing something a bit different, compared to some other people. You're not really going to grow that much. Of course, it can still happen. You never know. But you're not going to grow that much being a second-rate version of another YouTuber. You kind of have to do some own things. Have your own personality in there. Have your own flair, your own creativity. Put in your YouTube channel. That's what I think really helps channels grow. So I don't think it's so oversaturated that it's impossible to grow, but I do think it's going to be hard, and it's going to continue to be hard. It's going to continue to be harder because without even knowing it, we're always in competition with other people. There's so many other Call of Duty channels out there, which I don't know them, they don't know me, but we're in competition with each other because there's only so many viewers out there in the world, and it's up to us to just make the best videos we can, and hopefully people like them. That's what it's all about. So I don't think it's impossible for young channels to grow, but it's going to be a lot of work as compared to what it was back in the day. And again, that's why a lot of channels have kind of fallen off that were popular back in the Modern Warfare 2 days, back when Machinima Respawn was really big and such. There was a lot of channels that were popular back then, which really are kind of irrelevant or gone now because they just couldn't keep up. There's so many people continuing to come here, and they're all working so hard to make the best videos they can, which for the viewers, the best thing in the world, man. You just continue to get better and better and better videos out there. But for the YouTuber itself, it's more and more and more work because you're going to continue to have to try and outdo yourself. You're going to try and make the videos video that you made today better than the one you made yesterday. Every single day you're trying to improve. So keep in mind, if you're going to start your YouTube channel and you really want to make a go at it, it's going to be a lot of work. But on the opposite end of the spectrum, if you just want to do it for fun, you just want to make a video now and again, just put up a montage, put up really cool gameplay, that's fine. But chances are it's not going to get super noticed. Just keep that in mind if you're not really putting a ton of time and a ton of effort into your YouTube channel. Next question, he writes, Dear Nero, so I looked on the top games for the Xbox One backwards compatibility, and Red Dead Redemption has lost its first place spot to Black Ops 2. I would say this makes Black Ops 2 not only the most popular Call of Duty game, but the most popular game on the Xbox 360. What do you think? P.S. Thanks for the great videos and being an inspiration. Your videos brighten my day. Hydro from the UK. So thank you, Hydro, for the kind words. First and foremost, man, that's awesome. Thank you so much for that. Black Ops 2 being the most popular Call of Duty game and even the most popular game on the 360. I think it's entirely possible. But it's kind of hard because there's a lot of people out there that maybe don't have Xbox Live, that didn't actually play the multiplayer, they're not super connected in that respect. There's a lot of good games that came out for the Xbox 360. So to say it was like the best game on the 360, while it's possible, I wouldn't deny it and I wouldn't be surprised if it was. At the same time, it's kind of hard to judge that. But the most popular Call of Duty game, I say definitely. I definitely think Black Ops 2 was the most popular Call of Duty game. I actually kind of coined the phrase, it's the new COD 4. You know, Call of Duty 4 was a revolutionary Call of Duty game. It was like the game for a number of years. You know, even going all the way up into Black Ops 1's life cycle, people were still going back to Call of Duty 4 because it was like the original, the most innovative Call of Duty at the time. You know, they implemented, of course, kill streaks and the create class and the perk system and stuff, and it was so simple and so well put together, and people loved it. Like, picture Call of Duty 4 got competitive to the point where it was a lot like Counter-Strike. I'm sure a lot of you guys play CSGO now, and the reason why CSGO is like so popular is because people like know those maps inside and out. They know every little thing. Like, if you look at this specific cloud and you throw your grenade here, you know, your smoke grenade, it'll go across the map and it'll bounce and it'll land perfectly in this window. Like the things like that, like this, how in depth people go with Counter-Strike. That's how Call of Duty 4 was for the longest time, especially on PC. Like, the COD 4 Pro Mod scene was insane, and people continue to play COD 4 forever. It was just like the game that you compared all the new Call of Duty games to. But over the years, it's kind of grown irrelevant because it's so old and so dated to look at COD 4 now. It's been a very long time. But Black Ops 2, it was so popular, right? During Call of Duty Ghost, like, the majority of the Ghost player base went back to Black Ops 2, whereas Black Ops 2 consistently had more people playing it during the COD Ghost life cycle, even though COD Ghost only been out for a couple of months. Like, so many people continue to play Black Ops 2. So many people continue to play Black Ops 2. Like, there's usually over 100,000 people playing on that, regardless of your platform, except for maybe PC, because I don't think PC ever has that many people playing it. But if you're on like the 360, you're on the PlayStation 3, most of the time, especially during like peak hours, like between like 3 and 8 o'clock for your specific time zone, wherever that may be, like, usually there's gonna be like 100,000 people playing on Black Ops 2. There's so many people that continue to play. It is so popular, and people want it to be remade and made so they can actually play on their new system. Because I know there's a lot of you guys out there, and I'm sure you guys can answer this for me in the comments. I'm sure there's a lot of you guys out there that have an Xbox One, that have a PlayStation 4, but you still are consistently plugging in your PS3 and your 360 because you want to play Black Ops 2 because it was your favorite Call of Duty game. It's the game you guys like to play the most. Like, I definitely think Black Ops 2 is the most popular Call of Duty game, bar none. It is so many people continue to go back and they continue to play it. And in my own personal opinion, it was a really good game. I really like the kill streaks. I like the progression system. I love the maps and the guns and the art style and the theme, and just like, I loved everything about Black Ops 2. It was a really good game. So yeah, I can definitely see why it is like the most voted game for the Xbox One backwards compatibility. But who knows if they're actually going to make it backwards compatible? That is going to come down 100% to Activision, I believe, as to whether or not they're going to allow that to happen. Next and final question. He's going to write, Dear Nero, since you are so interested in World War II, I was wondering if you have a favorite World War II movie. Mine is Saving Private Ryan. Grant from Missouri. So Grant, I'm going to recommend you a movie. Now, this movie I've recommended a couple times here on Dear Nero, but I'm going to recommend it again for all of you that have never seen it, because if you like the idea of a World War II movie, you'll probably just love this movie. It is called Enemy at the Gate. It is about Vasily Zaitsev, who was a sniper in the Red Army during World War II. Mainly the movie focused on Stalingrad, and it was kind of like a sniper battle between him and this German sniper in Stalingrad. It's a really, really good movie. It is definitely one of the best movies I've ever seen. And if you're looking for like a really good World War II movie, Enemy at the Gate is a really good one, but it's not as mainstream, I would say, which it makes me sound hipster, and I hate to come off as that, but it's not as mainstream as Saving Private Ryan, right? Like, everybody's heard of Saving Private Ryan with Tom Hanks. Great movie. You had like the initial scene right there where you're on the beaches of Normandy, you're going through D-Day, and how graphic and brutal it was because, like, everybody knows about Saving Private Ryan, but another really good World War II movie is Enemy at the Gate. Now, go ahead and check it out. You can Google it. Jude Law plays Vasily Zaitsev. It's a really good movie. You can rent it or do whatever you want to do to check it out. It's a really good movie, but keep in mind, it's a World War II movie, so there's going to be some gore and stuff, but I don't think it's as gory as what we saw in Saving Private Ryan, but at the same time, it's still very good. If you like sniper movies, it's a really good movie, especially a World War II sniper movie. It's just a fantastic film. I loved it. 10 out of 10, 5 stars, everything like that. It's one of my favorite movies of all time. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is going to be this week's episode of Dear Nero. I hope you guys all enjoyed it, and if you did, please be sure to leave a rating where you guys feel it deserves. I had to keep like stopping during the recording of this video because my throat is like, it's like messing up. Like, I'm like losing my voice here today for some reason. I'm not entirely sure why that is. Like, I haven't been making a ton of videos lately, but my voice is totally going today. I'm not sure why that is, but still fought through it, and hopefully you guys will enjoy this week's episode of Dear Nero. If you guys would like to go ahead and submit your questions for next week's episode of Dear Nero, simply send me a personal message here on YouTube. To do so, you go to my YouTube channel, go to the About tab, and from there you will find a send message button. It is that simple. Send your messages every week for Dear Nero. If you guys don't have your question featured on one week's episode of Dear Nero, feel free to send it again. Perhaps I didn't see it, or perhaps I felt it didn't fit into the format of that week's episode. Who knows? Who knows? So feel free to send in multiple questions every single week, and then maybe you'll end up getting featured on next week's episode of Dear Nero. Once again, I hope you guys all enjoyed this video. Remember to leave a rating. I hope you guys all have a wonderful day.